anxious, despairing, suicidal, Maggie, it's the poll tax. If, on the other hand, you're feeling vibrant tonight and you'd like to share your views with Brother James Whale about religious intolerance, then just phone 0532 46 1000 or fax 0532 42 18 30 and let's hear what you have to say about religious intolerance. Unless you're a Mormon. We don't want any Mormons. We can't stand them. And now, some music from Ruby Blue.
Ruby Blue. Oh, hello. Lovely to see you. Welcome to the show. Tonight, we're talking about the intolerance of religion. Ruby Blue, it says in Music Week, and if it was in Music Week, it must be true. Within 10 seconds, it is apparent that we are listening to future superstars here. A truly beautiful record that will establish this modern folk pop band as one of the most exciting discoveries of the year. You heard it first here live across the nation with The Whale tonight. Sister George, thank you very much indeed. Intolerances of religion. And religion does seem to me to be intolerant of almost everything. Some religions are intolerant of homosexuals, some intolerant of women, some intolerant about anybody who disagrees with them. What are your views on religious intolerances? Give us a call. You know the number? We will talk to some of my friends. We have Don McLean and Frank Topping with us. We'll be meeting the reverend gentleman a little later on as well. Now, Don is here, believe it or not to talk about Cracker Jack. The entire crew here got so carried away with that. They were. You're our Catholic tonight.
Thank you.
And you've been a Catholic. You're one of the few entertainers prepared to come out and say that they have a religious commitment.
Am I? I
yes,
can't believe
that. No,
that.
there are, you know. Cliff Richard was busy tonight, but
fancy being second.
Isn't he always? Yeah. And Frank, of course, you are a reverend fellow. You're a Methodist.
I am.
You're a Methodist and much seen and heard on radio and television. Yes.
Oh, I try my best.
Do you believe in you? I mean, as a I was going to call you a vicar, but as a reverend gentleman, I mean, do you believe in other religions or not? Can you have any truck with other religions?
Oh, Methodists are incredibly liberal.
They're not. You're the only one who's not intolerant. You're going to tell me.
That's why I became a Methodist, really.
Mm.
Well, they're less keen on defining things in the way that some outfits are.
Mm.
And because the moment you start to define something, you get yourself into trouble, really, because you're then stuck with saying that it has to mean that because it's written down.
The same cannot be said, of course, for Roman Catholics, who seem to be pretty intolerant of almost everything.
Certainly, and why not?
Does that not give you any sort of problem at all? You don't tell me you go to Mass and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I go to Mass every week.
Yeah?
Yeah, and holidays of obligation, and I keep the sacraments. Does me the world of good.
You don't?
I do, honest.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And all the little sexual, strange things that they go in for or don't go in for?
Do we have sexual strange things?
You know. No sort of contraception or anything. I mean, you practice all that? Or don't practice it, as the case may be.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, they're horrible things, aren't they?
How much
I mean, we never had them when I was a lad. I mean, when I was a lad, the only condom I've ever heard of was the lead singer with The Bachelor.
Yeah, well, that's... That's getting away from the point, really, Don, if you don't mind me saying so.
I didn't know they had pointed ones.
The point is the intolerance of religion, which you're trying to skirt away from, and we'll talk more about it a little bit later on.
Thanks,
because
James.
I'm pretty sure that we'll find a few callers who agree with me. James from North Hants. Hello, James.
Hello, James.
Yes.
If God exists, how come all these disasters in the world happens, like deformed babies and Bob's Full House?
Yeah, well, yeah. Bob's Full House is a particular catastrophe. I don't know. I can't answer that one, James. Oh, and by the way, I know we're going to get some people ringing up and saying religion's a load of bollocks and stuff like that. I take that for granted. We'll get those sort of calls, so don't bother to ring tonight. This is some intelligent phone calls tonight. Now, we have a Robert from Canterbury. Hello, Robert.
Hello, it's Dr. Robert Ramsey here.
Oh, sir, the Archbishop. Now, I was hoping you'd be able to... I'm sorry about the gentleman.
No,
yeah. Archbishop, thank you very much indeed for calling us.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I thought you were God calling me back. I've been asking for some after 8 mints, and I was hoping they'd arrive.
After 8 mints. No, I'm sorry, Robert. Can I call you Robert?
You may, yes.
Thank you, sir. Robert. No, we're talking about the intolerance of religion on the programme tonight, and as you know, that obviously you've had a lot of problems yourself. The Church of England still seems particularly intolerant of homosexuals and of women.
Well, you know, I'd like to see more women in the church. After all, 2,000 years, all we've really had is bread and wine, perhaps they could rustle up a crumble or some cherry brandy instead. I think that would be much better, you see.
Yes, yes. Yes, you again, like my other two friends, were slightly avoiding the issue. The issue tonight, of course, the intolerance of religion. I mean, surely it's not going to harm the Church of England to have a few female vicars in there somewhere?
Well, it might be quite a good idea, I suppose. But, you know, I do also try to read about other religions. I did read the Satanic Verses.
Oh, my God.
It's not very good. You see, it doesn't rhyme.
I was trying to leave that out for a while. What about, have you any thoughts, Archbishop, about your successor? I mean, after that last remark, you may be looking for one fairly soon.
Well, I'm thinking of asking the Bishop of Durham. I think it'd be rather nice to have an atheist in charge of the church.
You do? Some say, sir, of course, that an atheist is in charge.
Oh, no, I do. I believe in God, in Santa Claus. There are fairies at the bottom of the garden as well.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Dr. Robert Ramsey. Goodbye. And sorry about that. Craig from Scotland. Hello, Craig.
Hi.
Yes, Craig.
I knew a Jehovah's Witness a couple of years ago, and she got divorced from her husband, and the Jehovah's Witnesses that they were involved in, who kept in with her husband, threatened her for custody of her children, and you know, they were just, I don't know exactly what they were doing, but they were threatening her a lot and annoying her.
Do you have, Craig, do you have any religious feelings yourself after this, or do you just find that it's a total waste of time and gets in your way?
Well, like my grandparents and that are religious and that, but I mean, I'm not too bothered with it. I just, you know.
You're not?
I
Okay.
don't think to them.
Thank you, Craig. We'll take some more calls. You know the number. It's Leeds, which is 0532 46 1000. We'll be back. Where's my knob? After this. All right, welcome back, and with me now is the leader of the Islamic Party of Britain. His name is Dowd Pitcock, formerly David. Is that right, David?
Correct, yes.
Now, before we start, David, you are the leader of the Islamic Party. Now, this is not a religious party that you set up. This is a political party.
Yes, but you can't really divide politics and religion.
Well, the head of the Muslims, Dr. Badawi, says that he thinks this is your party is akin, perhaps, if you want to put it on the same level as the raving loony monster party.
His party, you mean?
No, your party. He says that you can't have the same sort of commitment.
Which Dr. Badawi?
The leader of the Muslims, Dr. Badawi, who the Council of Islam and Mosques.
I think there are about 3 people involved in that organisation, so I didn't realise that it was that Dr. Badawi.
I see. Well, it is, and it seems that they're particularly in the Muslim and Islamic faiths an awful lot of intolerances.
I would think that that's quite true. I think not necessarily in the faith, but the followers who proclaim to be followers of many faiths, but because they're not probably practicing the faiths that they profess.
Do you think that fundamentalism is taking over many religions?
Yes, I would think that that's possibly true, but in the sense that it's a generic term that you can use for pretty well anything, maybe fundamental atheists as well as fundamental Christians or Muslims.
Now, you say that the principle of Islam is live and let live, or one of the principles, and that Muslims can adopt without difficulty. But it seems, I wasn't going to bring Salman Rushdie into the argument, but it seems he's in everything today.
Yes.
I mean, that doesn't seem very tolerant at all.
Well, he's declined our offer to actually try and mediate in the matter. Until there was a suspension or a lifting of the fatwa.
But you do actually call him, I've got a little note here, apparently you think he's clinically insane.
That's what the psychologists and 2 psychiatrists have suggested, because, and we're not going to argue with them, there's a high probability that he is. And until we can actually get to meet him, it's difficult to really make the determination.
You see, I would have thought, I mean, I don't know, but I would have thought if a religion was worth following, it could stand up to any kind of criticism.
And likewise his religion, or those, probably he's a proselytizing atheist, I think that's the terminology.
But do you think, I mean, people should threaten to kill this man?
Well, let's put it this way. If he wrote the book knowing full well what the consequences would be, he did study Islam in Cambridge. So really, he's only got himself to blame for getting himself in the mess. But basically, his book is not a novel. I mean, it is an autobiography.
Yeah, but surely, I mean, the one thing about religion, Dowd, is that, we're all trying to find God in whichever way we choose to find God. We are all trying to find God, whether we know we are or not. Now, surely there should be a lot more tolerance. It seems that the entire world is trying to kill itself and its son in the name of religion somewhere along the lines.
Maybe that's true to some extent. I don't see this as a problem really in the case with Rushdie. It's something that...
but you'd be showing, surely all the Muslims in Britain would be showing the terrific tolerance of everybody else by coming out and saying, look, you know, for goodness sake, our faith is much stronger than whatever anybody writes about it. Let's just ignore this man.
Yes, but it wasn't written innocently. The book wasn't just a novel. It was disguised as a novel. And basically, it's a political book. His whole.
We don't threaten to kill people about political issues, do we?
No, certainly. Let me just say what I was about to say. That the book was written as a subversive book. I mean, the whole idea of his.
It can only be subversive, though, if people allow it to get to them the way this has got.
Well, if it's a threat to national security, you have to defend, as we would defend. I mean, the British defended in the Falklands. One would say, why go to war over an island?
Yes, but let's not get off the point. Let's get back to the point of the program, the intolerance of religion. And one of the things that Islam says, the most basic principle of Islam is respect of human life, irrespective of its origin, creed, colour, social status or belief.
Yes.
I mean, how can, on the one hand, can you say that, and on the other hand, be threatening this man with his life?
Well, basically, Muslims haven't threatened him with his life. They have made, there was a fatwa issued, a legal ruling like, would you ask the Archbishop of Canterbury to cancel one of the Ten Commandments? Because
I should have asked him earlier.
Yeah, you should
but
have.
I mean, right. there seems that there is so much hostility now between different people caused by this, that it would be nice to show that religion isn't as intolerant as I think it is, whether it's intolerant on Christian side about Muslims, or about Muslim side about Christians, or about different Christians and different Muslims. The intolerance of religion is what's surely going to pull everybody apart.
Well, Islam is a very tolerant religion. I mean, it is, the name of it in fact means peace. What's come about, what's happened is that it's been attacked by a virulent form of anti-religion, which is equally a closed system.
But don't you believe, though, that people should come out of the woodwork now and say Salman Rushdie must be allowed to go about his business as he would normally?
Well, we've already suggested that we should meet him. I mean, he's declined that, so we haven't been...
Would he be safe?
Oh, well, I would think so, yes.
Okay.
I mean, would we be safe?
Dowd, we'll talk to you a little bit later on.
Yes,
Thank you
God
for the
willing.
moment. And we'll take a little music now. Propaganda. Nothing to do with religion. Well, I don't know. Have a look at this. Oh, hello, we're back. Propaganda. And heaven give me words. I looked into the light, but you shouldn't do that. I thought I'd seen the light in there. I looked into the spotlight. I couldn't see a thing. Now, we're all back together again in the studio, and we're going to explore the intolerance of religion a little more. Frank, you said, and I've got a little bit from you here, you think that the blasphemy laws are outdated in this country and they should be changed. I mean, and you also think that people who write books like Satanic Verses should be dealt with legally. Is that right?
Oh, no, I don't know about that. I mean, I can't see... Illegally, he hasn't done anything wrong. I mean, according to the laws of this country, he's not done anything wrong. And, of course, he hasn't broken a law of blasphemy either, because it doesn't apply to anybody other than the Church of England. And I think even the Church of England must be embarrassed by having this little sort of...
Well, should we have a law about blasphemy anyway? Surely religion is above the law, and it doesn't need a law to deal with it.
I agree with you. I don't think it does. It doesn't need protecting by law. If it does, it's in a sad state, really, isn't it?
You see, what I can't get to go back to Don. I mean, talking about the intolerances as far as the Catholics are concerned, they can't tolerate, I believe, anybody who may well be a homosexual, the same as a number of other religions.
Well, I'm not too keen on it myself.
Yeah, but that's an awful thing to say. I mean, you might think it's funny, but I think it's a pretty awful thing to say.
I didn't think it was funny. No, I'm not very keen on them.
You know, but why? I mean, intolerance in life generally, perhaps we should be looking at. Why are you intolerant of people who are different to you, presumably different to you?
Oh, yes, definitely. I can assure you of that.
You know, there's this old adage, methinks the man doth protest too much or something. But I mean, is there a kind of it seems that people who have a strong faith are always more intolerant than less of people they don't agree with.
Well, I mean, I think we're pretty tolerant within religion. I think we're Catholics in general. There's moves towards Christian unity and all that sort of thing. I don't know if you'll ever get that from the Catholic Church. I think people are Catholics because they want to be Catholics. If they wanted to be Protestants, then they'd have changed.
Oh, you were a Catholic, Frank, weren't you? You were a Catholic and you decided to change from it.
That's right, I did. And that was my own journey, as it were, my own sort of working out what I was alive for, where I was going, what it was all about. And I didn't sort of leave Catholicism and become a Methodist. I left Catholicism and became nothing for...
So, I mean, you didn't want to... Did you want to be a minister and you felt, well, you couldn't be a minister in the Catholic Church because of the celibacy laws?
No, I didn't want to be... I had no calling to the priesthood that I felt at that time.
We were, a couple of years ago, it seems to have gone by the by a little bit, but a couple of years ago we were actually seeming to get together. People of different religions were trying to get together. It seems now they're getting even further apart.
Well, that's not true. No. They are getting together. I mean, for instance, there was a great gathering at Assisi. It was actually to do with the World Wildlife Fund, but in fact there came together at that time Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims, Christians, of all kinds, and all on that occasion committed to finding more ways of getting together. There's a council of Muslims and Christians and Jews. There are all kinds of organisations and all kinds of efforts.
See, the vibes I'm getting that you all feel that perhaps religion is not as intolerant as I think it is.
But it isn't. You see, all the things you've been saying, the intolerance of religion, the intolerance, I'm thinking, you know, there are so many aspects of religion. I just fix on to the intolerance and stuff. And I'm just thinking about people like, you know, Martin Luther King, intolerant.
Yeah, we all know the good points of religion, I'm sure, Frank. What I'm trying to get at is there's so many intolerances within religions, though, that can't accept somebody because they're different.
Well, I don't think that's... I think the only groups you're going to get are extremist groups that are going to take that. If any group that is exclusive in the sense it shuts its doors down and says, this is the way, we know the way, unless you believe the way we do and say what we do, you are out. Right? Now, there are groups like that, but there are groups like that in, you know, there are fundamentalist politicians, aren't there?
Sure, but I mean, what worries me is that if I want to carry on in one particular way, and if somebody from a particular faith says, oh, you can't do that, I'm not having you do anything like that, I mean, they get really very heated, very upset, very, very sort of nasty, I think is the only word I could use.
Well, you ought to join the Methodists. They take anyone. They took me, you see.
Now listen, I've had a couple of faxes in here. One from Darren Lawrence in Reading. Thank you, Darren. He says, I watch the show every week. I think I would like to send a fax about this. I'm a Christian, but I am not hypocritical because people who are not Christians do stupid things just like the ones who are Christians, like myself, he says. So we're all together. We're no different to anybody else. It's the people perhaps with a religious dogma attached and can't get away from it that the intolerant ones.
Well, isn't he trying to say that when you talk about hypocrisy and intolerance, you're talking about a human condition?
Yeah.
All people are hypocritical. We all got different faces for the bank manager and different faces for our friends and so on. And we're all intolerant. I'm very intolerant of all kinds of things. When I say intolerant, I'm intolerant, for instance, of injustice. I'm intolerant of, I think sometimes I'm intolerant of certain politicians and political views.
Okay, another fax here that comes from Gary, which is quite good. He says, James, I must have a sixth sense. What's the difference between a Skoda and a Jehovah's Witness?
Yeah.
You can't shut the door on a Jehovah's Witness. We'll take a break.
James Whale. The James Whale Radio Show. Into part, the James Whale Radio Show.
Give me an F. Give me a U. Give me a C. Give me a C. What does that spell? Ha ha ha! Yea, though I walk in the valley of the shadow of the dirty-minded, I fear no man, for am I not part, parcel, bag, baggage, foundation, cornerstone, chimney nook, stereo, video, boogie with a suitcase, numero uno, big cheese of the aforementioned FUCC, the Fundamentalist Unified Church of Carnality, the church where you have to sin to be saved, the church where greed is a must, where lust is necessary, whose temple is any place 2 or 3 are gathered together with a clatter of booze, 20 fags, Motown's top 20 greatest hits, various lubricants, and a serious urge to party. A church where sex is compulsory and orgasms are guaranteed to all. Yes, even the women. Orgasms. The big O. Dum 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 doo dee da. Only the lonely. Except you're never alone with an orgasm. And let me tell you, you join up my church, you are guaranteed a lip-smacking, toe-trembling, hair-pulling, side-splitting, major orgasm. And if everybody in Northern Ireland joined up, there'd be an end to the troubles. Violence, sectarianism, not if you're too shagged to stand up. Now, for example, I want everybody here right now, and all you people at home, I want you all to make love right here, right now. Doesn't matter if it's not your usual second Tuesday of the month, get right down to it. Look, and when you have your orgasm, I want you to see how many Secretaries of State for Northern Ireland you can remember, all right? You have 10 seconds, more than enough time in my experience, all right? Everybody go on now. Go. Dum 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 do. That's going great. I'll go on now. Great now. Do do do. All right, we're coming up now to the big finish. All right now, everybody. Right? Boom. All right. Let's see. Right. How many Secretaries of State did we get? How many? What? Tom King. We got 1 Tom King. Any advance on a Tom King? Willie Whitelaw. Willie Whitelaw. Half of Willie Whitelaw. Which half? Whitelaw or right? Fine. Yes, madam. Mel Gibson. No, madam. Some mistake surely, but you know you must have had a good time. You know what I mean? Now, right? Now. You see, sex and politics don't mix. Now, I know what you're all thinking. You men, you're thinking. Well, you know, 10 seconds is an awful long time to make love. While you're waiting for this woman to decide that she's going to have an orgasm. Well, fear not, for the FUCC has the answer for you. Simply send £10 to me, the very revered Elvis Minogue McCracken, care of the James Whale radio show, and I will rush you the FUCC foreplay cassette. You simply slip this into a Walkman, slip the earphones on your woman, nip down to the pub for a quick drink, you come back, she's hot, she's ready, 10 seconds, boom, there you go, no problem. So rush your £10 to me today and take advantage of our special safe sex offer, a free prophylactic with every cassette. Now please state sizes. You can have small, which I think would suit you, sir, there you go, medium, or my own particular favourite, Elvis, or king size. So do it today, everybody. Get together. Love your neighbour. All right, let's go. Come together. Let's go. Right now. Over me. That's it. Well, a few converts there, I think that. Oh, hello.
Sorry, Reverend. I was under the impression that you were here to do a sermon for the show.
That was it. And you know, I've some converts there, I can tell.
Yes.
Here.
Yes. I wonder how tolerant religion really is. We'll see the phones. Now, last week, I had the pleasure, nay, the privilege of meeting Rabbi Julia Neuenberger. And this is what she had to say about the intolerances of her religion.
Whaley goes to town.
Thought for a moment I might have got myself a part in the bill, but it wasn't to be. Not the sort of place you'd expect me to come to do an interview with a very lovely lady rabbi, but this is the exclusive Groucho Club in London, Soho. I wonder if they'll let me in here. Was it a great disappointment to your family when you decided to become a rabbi? I mean, for a start, you're the wrong sex, aren't you?
Well, I'm certainly the wrong sex as far as Orthodox Jews are concerned, but as far as non-Orthodox Jews are concerned, like my ex-synagogue, the liberal synagogue, they're quite happy about having women rabbis. My father was really rather pleased, but my mother thinks organised religion is the pits, and she was absolutely appalled. Yes, she's a German refugee from Nazi Germany, and she, you know, Judaism has been a problem to her, and she didn't have a great Jewish upbringing or anything, and she thinks it's all really a waste of time. So yes, it was a disappointment to her.
How do you come to terms with the great intolerances, particularly in the Jewish religion? I mean, there are so many, I don't know where to start.
It's pretty amazing, actually. And, you know, the view is that there are 2 Jews and 3 opinions, and that's about right. And Jews argue very hard, because part of the religious tradition is this arguing over Talmud, over legal texts. So you argue very hard, you fight away. But what has actually happened is that the Jewish community has become deeply divided. That's not only in this country, but it's particularly bad in this country. And you've got the Orthodox on the one hand and the non-Orthodox on the other. And there is an awful lot of slanging off, and it isn't very pleasant. And I've certainly suffered from that at times.
But you see, what worries me about religion per se now, not just the Jewish religion, is they all have so much intolerance in what is supposed to be the spreading of love and understanding.
Well, you see, I don't think that's quite fair. I think that you will have a section within each religious grouping that is pretty intolerant of everybody who isn't like it. And I would describe them loosely as fundamentalists. People are, you know, total basic believers. This is the truth. I have the truth. I know what it is. Therefore, you must be wrong.
But the intolerance in the Jewish religion, particularly if you marry outside the religion, people are prepared to lose their children, aren't they?
That's fairly rare that they will actually lose their children. But there certainly are times when, you know, if somebody marries outside the faith, then their family actually sit shiver, go through the mourning procedure as if they were dead, which is outrageous. I mean, it's absolutely absurd. I'm not sure to what extent that is truly religious. I mean, I think there's a strong tribal element here. There's a very strong sense amongst Jews that, you know, we're a very small community, an awful lot were killed during the Holocaust, we somehow have to survive, and therefore people who marry outside the faith, who therefore might have children who aren't Jewish, are seen as a kind of loss to the group, to the people. And I'm not entirely convinced that that is about religious intolerance wholly. Let me say at the same time, I hate the idea of segregated education, because I think it's terribly bad for kids not to learn to get on with people of very different beliefs.
And that builds up more intolerances, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and I think it makes things worse. And I think sectarian education, of which we have a lot in Britain, and obviously
most ordinary schools are C of E schools, aren't they?
C of E schools, and the voluntary aided sector, Catholic schools, C of E schools. I think all of that is actually wrong. I think that's damaging. I think it's true to say that there's been great growth in fundamentalism, really extreme views. I know I'm right, therefore you must be wrong. You're so wrong that I'm going to kill you because, you know, you haven't got the right way to God. Now, I think that is not actually to do with religion itself. I think it's to do with the way that the human mind works. And you could just as well have it for communism, for Marxism, but the more fundamentalist stream in religion that we see, the more likely we are to see it, and it's growing.
461000. He's waiting for your call now.
Okay, now I got the joke about the Skoda thing. Apparently, the Jehovah's Witnesses, you can shut the door on. Right, sorry about that. Thank you very much indeed. I want to say hello to all the people I met at the Oxford Union Debating Society on Wednesday, when I had the privilege of being there and beating Gilbert Gray in the debate. Do you like that? We're getting some fairly good faxes in. I rather like that. It's rather nice. That's rather good. And one here, it says, get your skates on, James. We're coming to see you in Gloucester on Saturday, which I'll be there tomorrow. Later tonight, isn't it now? Please bring us as many late-night entertainment packets as you can. Put a couple of those aside. And we've got loads of calls coming in, so let's take some of our 3 gentlemen sitting here behind me. If you feel like chipping in, please carry on. Do.
Great,
Richard from Exeter, hello.
Hello.
Thank you, Frank. Yes, Richard.
Yes, James. In the Bible it says, if thine eye offends thee, poke it out. And if thine...
Fine, okay. If a voice offends thee, poke it out as well. We've poked you out. David from Bedford. Hello, David.
Hello.
Yes, David.
The difference between the Mormon Bible and the standard English Bible is quite different. Obviously, the people like the Osmonds believe in the Mormon Bible. What can the religious advisors that you have with you tell us about the difference between the 2 Bibles?
Yes, well, thank you. We wish we had about 4 or 5 days to explore that particular question. Unfortunately, at the moment...
They are just different. They're not at all the same.
Absolutely, just a quick
word
different
source.
Well, it's
fine,
sort
okay.
of a fairy story, isn't it?
Yeah, fine, okay, thank you for that. Mick from Fairy Stories, Don. You're really stirring it up tonight, aren't you?
He means the Mormon book, is the Book of Mormon.
Oh, I see,
Fairy Story.
The interesting thing here, you see before you 3 Catholics, 2 now not Catholic, but 1 still hanging on in there.
Stuck in there.
And you can see why, can't you? Mick from Sheffield. Hello, Mick.
Hello.
Yes, Mick.
It's not Mick, it's Nick, actually.
Is it?
Oh.
Interrupt me and you don't stay on the programme. David from somewhere in North Yorkshire. Yes, David.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, James.
being an avid fan of your programme, do you yourself personally believe in religion?
I don't believe in religion. I'm pretty sure I believe in God. Shouldn't say that's going to ruin my credibility. I wish I hadn't said that. But religion seems to me to be the one thing that messes up any kind of belief. But thank you anyway, David. Michael.
Oh, come on, come on.
Who are you trying to be credible with?
I don't want to be credible with anybody, really. I mean, I don't know. I'm saying that as a people might have thought that I do believe in God. I have to tell you that I do think I believe in God. I mean, I don't know why.
On the James Whale.
No, I'm not going to go on with that.
Of course you know why. You've got to be very brave not to believe in God.
You have. Now, that's a very good point, Don. That's the most sensible thing you've said since you came in this evening.
Thanks a lot.
That is a very good point, because a lot of people say, I don't believe, and that's it. And you say, are you sure? I don't believe. Fine, okay. It's not that I'm not bothered about
It's
the
like
end
an
of life.
atheist in a coffin, or he's all dressed up and he's got nowhere to go.
It seems, yes, you're quite right. I mean, I was looking forward, don't get me wrong, I was looking forward to sitting up on that cloud playing the harp and looking down on all the other poor sods still left behind. But I don't think that happens, unfortunately.
No, not after the content of this programme.
Unfortunately, that's the level of thought that people have about religion. You know, God is somebody with a long white beard sitting on a cloud. You know, if you're going to conceive of God at that level, you know, then I would agree with you. I don't believe in all that kind of rubbish either.
But God is God. God is not man writ large.
Yeah.
What I want to know, why did David, who is now Dowd, become a Muslim? Why did you decide to do that?
Well, I tried all the others to the extent of, but I didn't find the sort of satisfaction or the answers, many answers that I wanted answers to. And
you see, but looking through your biography, you were a butcher, you were a nightclub singer, you were a motorcycle racer, and now you've founded the Islamic Party, which is a political party. It's not just a way of making a few more bob and sort of.
No, well, it's
I mean, if you get
not
elected
that.
to Parliament and...
Well, I suppose, but really there's a genuine interest in wanting to know the truth, irrespective of whether it was convenient or sort of fashionable. And I would say that the first 15 years of since I became Muslim have probably been the hardest of my life.
You see, what worries me is you're all sitting here, three of you with particularly different beliefs, really, if you were to get down to the nitty-gritty. Presumably you each assume that your other compatriots are not going to get where they think they should be getting because you feel you're right.
Oh, no, I didn't think that. No, not at all. Actually, I mean, I wanted to ask Dowd a question, because I was trying to find out where Muhammad, peace be upon him, where he emerged from. I mean, I know he in Mecca and all that, but was he from Judaism? Was he from Christianity?
No, in fact, Mecca is probably the oldest centre where people worshipped monotheistically God, and Abraham was the one who built the Kaaba there.
So is it a Jewish root?
No, no, really. Well, he came from Ishmael. They were Hebrew.
Yes, yes.
You see, the thing is that basically you all believe the same sort of stuff.
All came from Abraham.
And yet there are so many disagreements within religion. We'll come back in a few moments. Michael from Harrow, hello.
Good evening, James.
Yes,
How are
Michael,
you?
hi, fine.
First of all, I'd like to say it's good to see Don back on TV. And
Thank
the
you,
other
Michael.
question is, you're a cunt.
Oh, nearly, but not quite. Not very nice, Michael. I don't think you'll find your place in heaven either for carrying on like that. Now, sympathy vote has gone straight to you, you see. That's really annoyed me. Dave from Hemel Hempstead. Hello, Dave.
Oh, hello, James.
Yes, Dave.
Well, what I've got to say is I married a Catholic girl.
Yeah?
And I wouldn't convert myself to Catholicism.
Catholicism?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to promise that I'd bring my kids up in the Catholic faith, yeah?
Uh-huh.
And I did so with my girl. But when my boy was born, I put a stop to it. I said, no, look, he's not going to get christened. He's going to get brought up to what he wants to believe.
Quite right. I think that's a good idea.
That's rubbish. That is. I mean, because you've got to give somebody a religion to start with. You've got to give them a starting point.
I agree.
Frank started out as a Catholic. Decided he wanted to turn to be a Methodist.
But why can't you give everybody a fair crack of the whip, so that the people...
You're not giving them a fair crack of the whip if you don't give them any religion whatsoever.
No, listen to what I'm going to say. Don't interrupt me before I've said it. Oh, I sound like one of my guests, don't I? The thing is, if we were given a look at all religions when we were young, and not just put into sectarian schools, which is what tends to happen now, perhaps we would all be a lot more tolerant of each other.
Well, I don't think that's... I mean, I don't think it's true. I mean, I think religious studies in schools now cover all the religions. I mean, in the school where I live, we have people who are from Africa, India, we have Muslims, Hindu,
but you
Christian.
see, Frank, are a chaplain of a Methodist school. Now, you have a particular axe to burn. I think it would be a good idea if we took religion out of every school, and if people want, then they can go to Sunday schools in their particular church, but we taught religion maybe as history within schools.
No, I don't teach Methodism to the kids. I mean, religious studies means not proselytizing, not trying to convert them to my point of view, but telling them what people believe around the world.
Okay.
I mean, the whole gamut.
In a couple of moments. Very nice. That's particularly a little religious theme there, with me playing, well, I don't mind, the organ. Now, Wales Mail this week, quite interesting. And don't forget, if you have any points you'd like to raise or something you'd like us to bring up on the programme, you can write to this address, Wales Mail, there we are, care of Yorkshire Television, the Television Centre, Leeds, LS31JS. And from S.W. Dighton in Merseyside, he says, in the majority of cases, religion is chosen for us by our parents, going on from what we were talking about earlier. It would be better if we could decide for ourselves when we had some knowledge and understanding of life. I think I go along with that. John Bailey in Devon thinks God is on top of the mountain, and there are many paths to the top. It doesn't matter which path you take as long as you get there. And Mr. Gordon in Omagh in County Tyrone has this thought on the origin of religion. God is the original substitute for ignorance, he says. Ken Watkins in Oxford says, if there was irrefutable evidence that one God existed, then it is obvious everyone would be of the same religion. That's like stating the obvious, isn't it? Steve Dowdsall from Bury St Edmunds in Suffolk poses this question. Why did man invent religion? He then offers this answer. So that a select few could have domination over the masses. That's an interesting point. And this was sent in by a Mr. Harrison, or maybe a Miss Harrison of Pudsey in Yorkshire. Naive by ye who find it odd, sectarians murder in the name of God. Catholic, Protestant, Muslim, Jew, laying claim to be the chosen few. Whilst preaching rights from father and son, countless innocents mourn and weep, I reckon God must be asleep. It's an interesting point, I thought, as well there. Just thought I'd throw in, and looking at me now. Daggers. Right.
Hardly daggers.
What?
Hardly daggers.
Hardly daggers. It was a nice, wasn't it? Yeah. It was a compassion. Sister George, thank you very much indeed. Sister George, I'm told, I don't know, I haven't had a chance to speak to you, but I'm told you're one of those nuns who's taken a vow of silence.
Yes. Oh!
Ruined your chances of getting to heaven, hasn't it, dear? Oh, here, have a packet of late-night entertainment now. You won't be needing the silly gear anymore, will you? Right, can I go on and take some calls? Do I have some time for some calls? Oh, good, right. Now, Jaime in London.
Hello, James.
Yes?
Hello, now, the religion is something that's all over the world.
Good, fine, thank you very much indeed. That was a South African Jaime, I think, that one. John from Hastings.
Hi, James.
How is Hastings?
Fine down here. Lovely weather today.
Nice weather today?
Yeah.
I haven't been to Hastings for years. Right, what can I do for you?
Don't blame me. There is an argument that, let me say again, mentally ill people, okay, they suffer delusions and talk to themselves. You can see them wandering down the roads occasionally.
Yeah.
And there is an argument that religion is a symptom of mental illness.
Do you think yourself that religion is a symptom of mental illness?
Well, I was going to say to Frank Toppin that I'm a Methodist as well, you see.
I see.
I'm just putting some arguments that have been put forward.
I mean, if you're a Methodist, and I'm told, Frank tells me that Methodism is the most liberal form of religion, does that mean you can sort of be religious, but you can duck and dive as far as all the rules and regulations are concerned? Maybe. Yeah?
But it must be.
You don't have to get up early to go to mass or anything like that, or fast for a few days. I mean, it seems quite a good one actually when I think about it. Yeah.
But is it not true that Methodists were not keen to join in with all this
rigmarole?
Catholicism and Anglican union as regards to.
Is that right, Frank?
No, I'm afraid it isn't.
No?
The Methodists voted in favour of joining the Anglicans. The Anglicans were the ones who couldn't come to a common mind about it.
How are the Methodists as far? I mean, you have women preachers, don't you, Methodists?
We do. We've all been ordaining women ministers. There are quite a lot of reverend ladies.
Reverend ladies
in the Methodist Church.
How do you feel about the Church of England, who just can't bring themselves to do that? I mean, what are your feelings on that?
Well, I think they're trying to suppress something which they ultimately can't suppress. In the end, those women are going to achieve. I mean, they do ordain women now as deacons.
I mean, Catholics would never wear a woman priest, would they?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Too intolerant, you see.
Well, we've already got the fellas wearing the frocks. Why should we rebel with that?
But if I go to Dowd for one moment, I mean, Islam it treats women terribly.
No, well, that's the constant myth that women were given the rights for 1400 years ago.
But you do. I mean, you do expect women to dress in a dowdy costumes, walk behind you, and all this sort of.
Well, I think there's I was going to say there's a Methodist in the other man's madness, but there's wisdom in that if you look at it.
Let me go to Saeed from London. Hello, Saeed.
Hello, James.
Yes.
I'd like to give you a little Muslim prayer.
If I would? All right, write it down on a postcard, send it to me. Thank you very much indeed. Nice. Right. Can I continue? So we've got so many chiefs and not enough Indians around here tonight. Right, I see. Okay, Liz, hello.
Morning, James.
Good morning, Liz.
There's a couple of things, if you don't mind.
Which is the most important, Liz? Go for that one.
Well, I'd like to know why we have to have so many different religions.
I think we'd be getting into a really long discussion then.
Like you just said, everybody's trying to get in touch with their God. So why do we have to have all these other religions? Why can't everybody just worship one God?
The thing is, you see, Liz, I mean, just imagine how many people would be out of work if we scrapped all these religions. I mean,
So
it's keeping a lot of these people employed.
It's all regarding money then.
I think to a certain extent you might be right.
There's nothing wrong with that, James, can I just say.
Okay, right,
Well,
thank you
if
for
you
the
became
calls.
a Franciscan and took a vow of poverty, you might not feel the same way about it.
Okay, right. Thank you, gentlemen, very much indeed. I think we're nearly finished. Before we go, I just want to... we've got Mark Shaw coming up, of course, singing live at the end of the programme. This week saw the debate in Parliament about the abortion bill again. And I just cannot understand. There's more intolerance, much more intolerance. As far as I'm concerned, in my view, only my view, what the hell does it have to do with all those MPs, the majority of who are men? Surely it is only a woman's right to choose whether or not she wishes to have an abortion or not. Earlier in the series, we talked to Cyril Smith. Now, do you really want to force women who don't want to have a child to have one? Do you want to make it more difficult for them to get an abortion or not?
Basic answer to your question is yes. But what in fact I want to do is to reduce the period in which legal abortions are available. At the moment it's 28 weeks. We want to get it down to 18 weeks. See, there's a lot of talk about 24 weeks. 24 weeks wouldn't make the slightest difference.
But the majority of people want to get rid of a child, if that's what they wish to do, within the first few months, as soon as possible.
Well, if they want to have an abortion up to 18 weeks, if those of us that want to change the Abortion Act at our way, then they'd still be able to have the abortion.
You
up
don't
to
want to
18
make
weeks.
it impossible for a woman to have an abortion. You don't want to bring it into...
I wouldn't go that far, but some of my colleagues would, of course.
More intolerance. There we are, much more intolerance. That's almost the end of the show. Next week we're coming to you live from London, and on the eve of the John Lennon Memorial Concert, we will be going back to the 60s. But right now, into the 90s, and a preview of the brand new single from our very good friend on The Whale Show. God, he looks so smooth. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Shaw! Love So Bright!
I'd like to play the song to Lorraine Herbage and her band. Working with the lights down low and wishing that the world would close today. Never took the time to notice just how far you ran away from me and mine, our love divine. Look into those pale blue eyes that closed before the worst was spoken. You know it's comical now. But lady, come on, Give me your love so. Working to forget myself, and I'm looking at the fear of no way out. She took the first outsider, opened up her arms, and I've got to find a way. Can never save you from your soul, your precious soul. You know you con yourself now. But lady, come on, give me your love so right. Rolling you down, give me your love so bright. Shines the light, burns on me. Honey, give me your love, give me your love, give me your love, give me your love so bright, 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 so bright. Come on, come on, come on, honey, give me your love so right. Give me your love so right. Go